Hey, what's up? This is Paul Solt from Super Easy Apps, and I wanted to do another Dev Life update. I'm working on a couple things. One of the ones I want to work on in this video is just getting Artwork Evolution updated for the App Store. It's not working on iOS 11. I really want to try and get it on the device today. I realized when I was messing around with this that I've got this dependency on Flurry. I'm not even using the analytics, is what I decided after last week's video. I'm just going to strip it out. I tried to get it to work a few minutes after the last video I made, and it just wasn't worth all of the pain and frustration of trying to get it to work for something that I don't even care about right now. I just want to be able to create artwork using my app on my iPhone. And so that's the ultimate goal. That's what we're going to be doing today. And I want to show you how that goes. All right, so let's jump right into it. I'm going back into Xcode. So I tried to replace this in my Xcode project, and it sort of failed, and then I think I removed it, so it's no longer here. Normally I have like dependencies, and trying to remember where we left off, so I don't think it's in here anymore. Great. Got some C++ code in there. All right, so we don't need that. So this error, it doesn't exist. What I'm going to do is a Control-Shift-F, and I'm going to look for anything that's called Flurry. So I'm going to go around and just look for that. Looks like there's about 40 references. I'm just going to go ahead and remove them all, and I don't even need this Mixpanel API stuff, so I can get rid of that too. So I was just tracking when things were being done and where things were being done. I'm just going to remove these. If I wanted to, I could have like a no op, but I don't even care at this point. I just want to get these out of here. I want to get this app working. So I'm just going to go through any of these remaining things and just try and get them out as quick as possible. Right, so we don't need any of that. Got it. So this is a genetic algorithm. It creates artwork. It's super cool. And I added analytics because I wanted to see how people were using it and if they were getting stuck on certain screens, because I know that when I made it, a lot of the UI wasn't intuitive. I had done this crazy, what I called coffee table user interface, and it was super weird. Don't need any of that. Get rid of these. If I want any sort of control over my constants, I put that in here, but we don't need that anymore. Can try and clean up some stuff as I go, but it's really a matter of just getting this to compile again. And that's going to take just getting rid of any of these references to my analytics platform. So you don't need analytics, and Apple now provides analytics, so that sort of does a lot of kind of what I was interested in at the time. And there's actually some really cool stuff on the analytics. Okay, so this dictionary is, I think, only used for analytics. Let me just double check that. There's a lot going on in this one where I'm sort of populating, trying to understand which option they select. So I had to create the dictionary up top. We're going to get rid of that. Then I just populate it in each of these methods. So I'm going to just go ahead and remove all this. This stuff is all code in Objective-C that I wrote in my first app about 8 years ago. It started as a Mac app, and then I converted it to iPad and iOS when that became available. And the nice thing is it has made some decent money. I've made over $600 from it. But right now it's not really selling, and I can't run it on my iPhone, so I'm updating it. All right, so I think I got rid of all of that. That was a lot. Oh, looks like we got one here. So I had some logging for errors, which was also useful. Helped me detect some crashes. So there are benefits to this type of thing, and Apple's providing a little bit more, which is nice. Don't need that. Even though this is commented out, I'm just going to get rid of it so that I never have to worry about it again. So the way Flurry Analytics works is you pass it dictionaries of information and it stores it all on the web. So I was storing a lot of information of sort of the general flow. Nothing on there was no real personal things you could do in here. So wasn't any personal information. It was just the flow of different screens. So I could sort of see which screens were being used. And some of the logging was also if there was crashing, so I could see when things were breaking. The other thing I'm going to have to deal with in here, and I probably don't have to deal with it now, is how a lot of these things are now deprecated. Because I was doing this in iOS, I think 3 and 4 for iPad. It was like 4.1 when iPad came out. All right, so now I've got some strings in here for references. Looks like in my, I don't think it's actually showing me the ones for the test. Let's see what this is. Library search paths. So library search paths is under build settings for my target. So I'm in sort of the crazy settings page. And this is when you're working with some SDK. So I tried to re-add it. It added these two entries. Sometimes when you're working with dependencies, you have to do this. I don't need that anymore. So we should be able to get rid of it. And then under here, I don't know if that was the same thing. That was probably the same thing. And then this one's going to be different. So this is library search paths. This is for a GH unit test, which was a unit testing framework I was using for this. I think that was for my C++ code. And now if I do a search again, Command-Shift-F. Ooh, it worked on the simulator. But, so I can skip that. Any more references to Flurry? All right, so I got rid of all the references to Flurry. That's good. Next is trying to get this to work on a real device. And last time we tried that, it didn't work because of the dependency on the library, which was not 64-bit compatible. And then I tried to add it in, and it was just a mess. Not worth my time to do that. So let's jump back in here. Evolution. So I'll just update the version number. And for builds, in the past, I had no idea what to use for these values. We're just going to go with 100 for that value. And if I'm doing a minor update, I'll increment this number. And if I'm doing something else that's major, I'll increment this. But I'm really just going to be changing the UI a little bit and playing with some images. So we can see that's working. Now the real test is getting it to work on my iPhone. So I will unlock my iPhone. And I've got a Mac version. I don't even know what that is anymore. I had a Mac version that did some of the logic, but it's not quite the same. So I've got 227 warnings still. But if none of those are blocking me from getting this update on the App Store, then I can install the app to my iPhone. And we should be able to see it working. Okay, it just installed. And cross our fingers, hopefully it doesn't crash. For some reason, it looks like other apps are deciding they want to update. Not sure why. And there we go. All right, so the app just started. I can switch this camera over and show you what we're looking at if this works. I can't debug at the same time. All right, so I'll just move this over here so that you can see what's going on. So this is my actual iPhone. I've got this welcome screen, and I thought, a bug that prevented something from happening here. So I can scroll between these. This is sort of an overview of how the app works. I've got a built-in video. If I tap on that, it might take me to YouTube, or it does an embedded video where it talks through how the app works. And do I need to update that? It's a little chunky, but I show how to set the wallpapers using these new images. All right, so I'll just hit next, done. Now we're in the app on my phone, and what we're gonna see is that I don't have any saved artwork. I gotta get rid of this coffee table because that doesn't exist anymore. So I'll remove that collection, and then it really just starts. It's kind of a weird app, but it's got to do some rendering. Oh, it looks like it's doing high quality rendering. It's just slower than I was expecting. One of the things I'm not doing is any kind of multi-threading. So let's say we want to look at one of these crazy patterns. Let's look at this one. I set it up to do image chunking, but it's probably not a very good implementation, and I'm not taking advantage of any of the hardware operations. This was all done in C++, so if I were to redo some of the logic in Swift, I would be able to get performance gain. So we can see that there's a low quality thumbnail, and you're seeing that on the screen, and that should update once it does a rendering pass. And it looks a little, oh, we are in the debug, so debug is going to always run slower. So once I get a release build, it should run a little bit faster. But that's kind of how the app works. Just did the update, so it rendered it at a higher resolution. Some of these would just take longer to render. And then what I can do is I can save this to the photo library. So if I were to do that, I can stretch it out. And I need permission. So you have to ask for permission in order to save. It just finished. So now what I can do is if I find my photos, I should be able to jump in here, and then I could choose that new sort of stretched out background. So I'll go in, see how that looks. I have this feature so that I can just sort of stretch it out, and you may or may not want to use that. But now I can take that image and I can... What is my wallpaper right now? Am I blind? It's not... Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. All right, so I need this icon. And then once I do that, we can see how this looks as a still or a perspective. If I want to play with that, once I do that, I can just set it. I can set it for both. And then we can sort of see I now have sort of this abstract artwork. Looks kind of interesting. All right, so that's Artwork Evolution. I got it working. Next, what I want to do is get that update on the App Store, so I'll get into that into my next video. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next Dev Life update. I do need to do an update for this on iTunes, and I've got a test flight beta expiring for my coffee app that I need to update. So those are two things that I want to make sure I get done in the next one. All right, I'll catch you later. If you like this, click the like button, and you can always click on the subscribe, which should be somewhere up here in the video. And I'll catch you in the next video.